As you'll see, this is a door. Right now you can tell that it's unlocked.
The external doors
Of a door?
the latch. Did it lock? Did it not lock?
And you've talked so much about the doors today. Thank you for being patient. Let's speak for a moment about all the classroom doors.
Social media aspect.
Just psychologically, a school that has a sign letting you know there may be shooters who are employed here, like law enforcement and stuff, would be a deterrent.
Equipping all of our officers, every vehicle, with these ballistic shields.
Do they have shields? Do they have ballistic helmets?
Not all officers have active shooter training.
The staff at this school are armed.
Can that door be locked from the inside?
The school marshal program.
Guardian programs as well.
Guardians, marshals, even RSOs.
Check all the doors to see how many there were.
Yeah, I think I've said all there is to say about these guys, but I just wanted to include this. So, off script here, we learned a very, very valuable lesson just now, because I gotta say, I just did one amazing show. I mean, it was amazing. The next segments were so good, and so the presentation, just everything about it was the best. It was like the best song in the world, because I didn't hit the record button. So that's a thing that happens. That's a real thing that does and can and just now did happen. So valuable lesson learned here today. Gotta hit that record button. So sorry to the folks at home who missed it. It was heartfelt and amazing. But what we've got to offer next is hopefully just as good, right? So President Joe Biden offers a band-aid of hope. When it comes to fuel prices, we're going to take a look at some economic data in just a minute. So I thought I would at least prepare you for that, trigger warning, right? Boy, we've been finding all sorts of reasons for me to get all nerdy with the old school toys lately. I'm kind of really excited about that, even if the folks at home hate it. But let's take a listen to what the president actually had to say here.
Today I'm calling on Congress to suspend the federal gas tax for the next 90 days through the busy summer season, busy travel season. Here's what that means. Every time you go to the gas station to fill your tank, the federal government charges an 18-cent tax per gallon of gas that you purchase, and a 24-cent tax per gallon of diesel you purchase. It's a tax that's been around for 90 years. It's important because we use it for the Highway Trust Fund to keep our highways going. But what I'm proposing is suspending the federal gas tax without affecting the Highway Trust Fund. And here's how we do that. With the tax revenues up this year and our deficit down over $1.6 trillion this year alone, we'll still be able to fix our highways and bring down prices of gas.
I mean, sounds good to me. What would really help is if governors in red states would follow the president's lead and suspend their local taxes, but we'll get into that. So Biden calls for 3 months suspension of gas and diesel taxes. I know how much you folks love whenever I read the news to you. Grandpa Chainsaw with the newspaper. But I'm just going to go over a couple of things here, make it super quick, because we already did this once. You might not have. So President Joe Biden on Wednesday calls on Congress to suspend federal gasoline tax and fuels, as we just heard. It doesn't reduce all the pain, but it will be a big help, the president says. I'm doing my part. I want Congress, states, and industry to do their part as well. At issue, 18.4 cents per gallon on fuel, 24.4 cents per gallon on diesel fuel. So with a $5 a gallon average, we're looking at a 3.6% cut in the cost of fuel, which of course Biden's push faces uphill odds in Congress, which must act in order to suspend the tax, where many lawmakers, including some of his own party, have expressed reservations. Even many economists view the idea of a gas tax holiday with skepticism. Nancy Pelosi is quoted as saying, "We'll see where the consensus lies on a path forward for the president's proposal in the House and the Senate." In his speech, Biden tied higher energy to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, said defending freedom defending freedom, defending democracy was not going to go without a cost for the American people and the rest of the free world. The president noted that lawmakers backed sanctions against Russia and aiding Ukraine despite the risk of inflation from resulting energy and food shortages. So for all the Republicans in Congress criticizing me today, and you know who you are, and the voters, you know who they are you now saying that you were wrong to support Ukraine? And some of them, you know, never supported Ukraine in the first place, but that's another story. Are you saying that we would rather have lower gas prices in America than Putin's iron fist in Europe? I don't believe that. Well, you better believe it, Jack. It's shocking, I know, but it's very much a thing. At least that's what I'm hearing. But again, it would be great if governors in red states would follow the president's lead and suspend state taxes on fuel. But we can't expect a guy like Missouri Governor Mike Parson to give a damn about what Missourians can afford. Sorry, I couldn't find the voice sample from that attack ad. But yeah, of course, there will be expected pushback from Republicans, as we can only imagine that there would be. Here's Fox News' Neil Cavuto catering to the hurt feelings. Yes, you heard that right. To the hurt feelings of OPEC and oil companies. Let's take a look.
So they know that the future is in electric vehicles and all of that. That's what you want it to be. And they know in that environment, they're sort of like cuts. So they're surrounded, right? So all of that. Think about where they're coming from. And you trash them. The administration has trashed them. All of that how the heck are they going to do what you want when you keep saying you don't like what they produce?
So look. All of that is correct, except for the part that says we don't like them. And by the way, whether we like them or not, they're raking in $35 billion in profit in Q1, so they're doing fine whether we love them or however our emotions reach out to them.
Boom! Economist Jared Bernstein hitting back with the hard facts, which, as I said, we'll take a look at here in just a minute, so rest assured. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. And that the folks at home know exactly what they're looking to hear. You know, when you hear these kinds of triggered talking points from the right, you know what it is to consider. More hurt feelings.
The only way to increase the supply of oil is for the Biden administration to get its boot off the neck of the oil and gas industry. He hates them. I mean, he mocked them. He, the president, mocked them yesterday, and they're coming to the White House, and he won't even deign to meet with them. I mean, when somebody acts like they don't care, sometimes it's not an act.
More hurt feelings about oil and gas industry. So Joe Biden, keep in mind, has his boot on the neck of oil and gas companies. Okay. So let's talk about some facts here now before we look at the data. Let me just tell you that CNBC had reported in the past that in 2020, U.S. oil firms slashed production as a result of pandemic, Trump's 2019 dealings with OPEC, which we've discussed both topics on this program before. Okay. From 12.29 million barrels per day in 2019 to 11.28 million barrels per day in 2020. They estimated that in 2022, we would be back up averaging around 11.85 million barrels per day. But don't take the word of CNBC. Okay, that's the liberal corporate business finance media. Right. But you know, don't take their word for it. Shit, let's take a look at Fred. Yeah, that's the Federal Reserve economic data. So either they have completely within hours or days or weeks or months or just the last year have disheveled all of the information on the Fred website and just to lie to us about this topic coming up right now, gas prices and inflation. Which is strange if you consider that some folks, myself included, have been paying attention to this for almost 3 years now, day to day, because of market fluctuations and, you know, the prospect of buying the dip. But yeah, so either the day before I started looking at this, it was just completely deranged and changed in the expectation that Donald Trump would lose the election in 2020 and that this inflation would go off the rails and gas prices would go up to $5 a gallon average, right? Or we could just go ahead and trust, in the economic data coming from the Federal Reserve economic data website. So fred.stlouisfed.org, you can Google it yourselves. It's not really my responsibility to tell you what to do. But I pulled this back. I wanted to look at this a little bit earlier, but I pulled this back a little bit further. And hell, we could even pull this back a little bit further. So this is industrial production, mining, quarrying, and oil and gas extraction, drilling oil and gas wells. And you could look it up yourself, NAICS on Google, oil. And it will come up with the NAICS code 213111. Okay, boom, wherever it is, right there. Google it yourself. Don't trust me. Don't just assume that I'm giving you the right information here. But let's take a look here. So 2016, this was an election year, and we'll get to how Obama did. So 2016, it's looking like throughout 2017, oil and gas extraction, domestic production here, had gone up. So that's your drilling, right? Drill, baby, drill. Up until right around, what is that? Say September 2018, October 2018, and then right around the time that we talked about Trump's whole OPEC dealings, the Mexico thing, and how we're going to import more oil and da-da-da-da, and then that's going to be the trade-off when Mexico pays for the wall. Yeah, looks like that went down till November 2019. Y'all remember 2019? I remember 2019. It was a good year for Trump and business, right? And then it started ramping up at the tail end. January, February, March. And then what happened here? Could that be the pandemic? March 2020, I think I was screaming about that all day yesterday, right? If you watched the show yesterday from the COVID crash, that apparently Bill Maher and the entire Republican voting populace missed. Y'all missed a hell of a dip to buy. But yeah, and so oil and gas production obviously went up from COVID, from, we'll say, about August 2020, right? Just before the election. And then look at this. What is that? That inauguration? I think it is 2021. Wow. So you're telling me that Biden's got his, how did they put that? He's got his foot on the neck of oil and gas companies, and yet our mining, quarrying, oil and gas extraction, domestic production in May of 2022, that's this year, is higher than it was in January of 2020, than it was in, say, May of 2019. How's that? How is that? How is it that the first year, the first 2 years, at the end of the, well, let's say it because it's a process, right? So at the end of the first 2 years of, so by May 2022, right now, right, that oil and gas domestic production is higher than it was at the same time in 2019 under Trump's presidency. You got to be kidding me. But let's not stop there. Let's take a look a little bit further back here. What's this? Oh, 2016. This is President Trump, right? Well, who was the president before Trump? Was that President Obama back in 2014? My God, are you kidding me right now? How does he do that? How does he do that? Let's go back a little further. 2013, 2012, right? So before that, we had the financial crisis. So I mean, we could look at that. It's going to look like this, or well, right? Because there's a financial crisis, just like the COVID crisis, and then production ramps up because people are spending more, because people are doing more things. supply and demand that folks love to talk about but don't seem to understand. So you tell me why gas prices are where they're at right now. Because this is Obama. This is Biden. Nope. Let's pull that off. This is Obama. This is Trump. And this is Biden. So far, 2 years in, where do you think that's going to go? Probably a little higher, right? Probably a little closer to, I don't know, maybe there. Maybe there. Who knows? I mean, you tell me, right? It's a crapshoot where these folks get this, deranged idea. What it is it's a talking point. I mean, clearly, Fox News is really just running low on topics. And so they keep regurgitating the same old thing. And just as proof of that. So listen, for the folks who don't already know, over a decade ago, Germany, right? Y'all know Germany, Deutschland. They'd outlawed circumcision of newborn babies, citing not the deaths of German babies, German newborns, due to complications from botched circumcisions, but they cited the deaths of American newborns as a result of botched procedures, right? Because sometimes it goes wrong, and they felt that it was unnecessary that even any children should be dying of this. Well, they did that as a preemptive response, right? Well, Canada has also recently passed laws restricting access to ownership to firearms in their country. Again, not as a result of gun deaths in their country, but as a precautionary measure to the gun violence that we face in this country. Fox News, it seems, is done talking about that and have since moved on to talking about straws. Let's take a look.
Yet he's sort of, it seems, appeasing
it's like it's a dictator starter kit, right? You banned guns, handguns a couple weeks ago, and now you add straws to the list. It's like, this is like a dictator starter kit. So the people in Canada, you might want to wake up. We take your guns a week ago. Now we're going to take away your straws. You're not going to have a lot left pretty soon.
Right. So just completely, you're not going to have a lot of talking points left pretty soon. I mean, nothing about the concerted effort to steal a presidential election in their own country, but the right is worried about authoritarian straws in Canada. Canada. How do these people even tie their shoes in the morning? Your guess is as good as mine. Listen, that's all we got for you today. I know it was a short one, and I apologize, but listen, the best way that you can help with production here and help make the show grow and do wonderful things and grow tentacles and reach out to more and more folks is to subscribe to the YouTube channel. That little red button that says the words subscribe or subscribe. Go ahead and smash that guy. Tap the notification bell icon. You know how YouTube works, right? Blah, blah, blah. Hit me up on Twitter at ChainsawCCC. Feel free to jump on patreon.com/ChainsawCCC. You can support this show and help us grow for as little as $3 per month. Now that's less than the cost of, it's less than half the cost of a caramel latte or a loaded tea if you're in the South. But until next time, we'll catch you on the flippity fling flong. Rock and roll.